Now that we've had a couple weeks to digest everything that happened, what are your thoughts on everything that took place out there? Anything standing out to you at this point?
Man, I still think they missed the boat with Cody. I'm trying to see the vision, right? Like, I'm trying to understand why they would do what they did and keep the belt on Roman Reigns. And outside of just elongating his title reign and getting him to 1,000 days, which I think maybe only, a tenth of the wrestling population even gives a crap about, I don't know how or why they passed up giving Cody his moment. And this goes all the way back to August, September, because you had a chance to give Drew his moment in the UK, Clash at the Castle. He was the poster boy for getting that event overseas. Finally, their first stadium show in 3 decades. And they put him in the main event against Roman. And then instead of giving him his moment, they introduce Solo Sikoa. He loses, and then they close out the show weirdly with him and Tyson Fury singing American Pie, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Then you fast forward to this year, and you got 2 organically grown, white-hot baby faces in Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. You put Sami Zayn in the main event in Montreal, his home country, his hometown. He's welcomed as a freaking hero. He was always going to be a long shot to beat Roman Reigns, but if they decided to pull the trigger and have him win, that would have been a moment that would have lived on forever, right up there with, January 4th, 1999, when Mick Foley on Monday Night Raw beat The Rock to win his first WWE Championship. Everybody would have remembered where Sammy was. And I know we had already established it was going to be Roman and Cody at WrestleMania, but, man, I was, of the opinion that night in Montreal at Elimination Chamber, just shoot first and ask questions later. Go ahead and pull the trigger, put the belt on Sammy, and figure everything out later.
Right.
They didn't do it. And ultimately I'm like, okay, that's fine, because they're going to give Cody his moment in Los Angeles in the main event of WrestleMania 39. And when they didn't, myself and everybody else, because they had moved the media who were going to be involved in the press conference, they had moved us all down to the floor. So we're standing there on the stage. We're feeling the electricity. Do you know how invested an audience has to be for a headlock takeover to get a standing ovation?
Yeah.
Like, the first 30 seconds of that match, people were on their feet cheering for Cody. And I'm saying, this is going to be a great moment. And then the second that Roman gets the pinfall win, and everybody on the floor is just dumbfounded. We got our jaws hanging on the floor. With the exception of the 10% of people who were rooting for Roman Reigns, everybody is just incredibly dumbfounded at the decision that they've made. And I just don't know where they go from here. Is Cody ultimately the guy? Do they go back to Seth Rollins? Are we waiting an entire year to build up a completely different challenger? I just don't know if what they're ultimately going to do and beat Roman Reigns whenever that does happen is going to be better than any of the 3 moments that they already passed up.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, that I hadn't forgotten about Drew, but yeah, you lump that in there as well, and yeah, those are 3 huge opportunities that WWE decide to stay with Roman Reigns. Why do you think that is?
I mean, look, it's no shot on Roman. He's the man. Roman Reigns is the guy. He's their dude, and he is, as Triple H would say, operating on a really different level. But where I disagree with Triple H and what he said in his media scrum afterwards is somebody has to go out there and take it from Roman. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, how much hotter do you want somebody to be than Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is out there selling more merchandise than practically anybody right now. He's white hot. He's the best babyface promo in all of wrestling. He had a fantastic story of going out there and winning the title that his father never did. This is a man who went out there and put on a match of the year candidate inside Hell in a Cell with a torn pec.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want this man to do? But, they got him in a program with Brock Lesnar. It's going to be interesting to see, what they do, who wins that matchup, and how long it's going to take Cody to get back to Roman, because I do ultimately think that it's going to be Cody who's going to beat Roman Reigns, and if it's not Cody, maybe Seth Rollins, if they decided to get back there with him, because there's still some unfinished business there. But after 3 years, man, they're kind of out of dudes at this point. Maybe you could see them heating up Bobby Lashley. There's some history with Bray Wyatt, but who knows where they're going there and whether or not Roman would even want to work with him right now. It looks like they're going to do a completely different, full reboot with him. after he got ill, and who knows when the next time we're going to see him. So there's not a lot of dudes that are left, and I think ultimately, while I get that Roman's doing great, and there's plenty of more story that you can tell with the bloodline and the Usos losing the titles, and I get all of that. I'm just wondering what's the end game now, and ultimately, again, it comes down to you have the chance to make somebody when you beat them. But you've had those opportunities, and you've already passed them up, so I don't know what they're building toward with him.
Maybe they'll do a 4-way match with Drew and Cody and Sammy and just throw them all together in a big pot and see what happens.
God, I would hate that. Like, if Roman's going to lose the title, he needs to get pinned. Like, I would hate it if he lost it in, like, a ladder match or a fatal 4-way and, like, Bobby Lashley pinned Sami Zayn to win the title. No. This has reached historic levels, all right? He's going to be the 6th person ever to have a 1,000-day title reign. I totally get it. But for the sake of the company as a whole, they need to get those titles off of him and then separate them again.